Whether you are fighting underneath the basket or right in front of the net, you will go head over heels for this one. Celebrate with all your friends. Sports Night is next.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Sports Night. I'm Joe Young.
And I'm Howie Shapiro. Another exciting week. Lots to talk about tonight.
A lot of stuff to talk about. Not quite as much video as we had for you last week, but a lot of action for Coon Rapids Athletics.
Yeah, and it's getting close to the holiday season, and there's a lot coming up. It should be a fun this week, and next week should be a lot of fun.
Yeah, a couple of teams that will be participating in holiday tournaments over the next couple of weeks. Others that take a little time off and kind of regroup for the second half of the season starting after the first of the year. But we will start with girls hockey. It's a big week for the Cardinals team as they come in riding a win streak. Cardinals had just one game last week, but they were hoping to build off the momentum from their dramatic overtime win over Blaine. Meanwhile, Andover was trying to turn things around. They were just one game under 500, but had lost 3 of their previous 4 games. It's the Huskies that grabbed the early lead. A little less than 3 minutes into the game, puck played behind the net for Morgan Check. She comes out front, backhand is stopped. Sidney Porter right there to put the rebound home. Get Andover on the board first. Cardinals tied it up on a power play early in the second, and just 90 seconds later, Lily Hackett picks off a pass, skates out front, beats a keeper with a quick wrister to the webbing. Hackett's team leading 7th goal of the season gives Coon Rapids the 2-1 lead. Still in the second, Andover working the power play. Shot from the point is stopped. Buell stops the rebound and covers. Michelle Holmes digs it out, puts it in, but the whistle had blown, and the goal is waved off. Thankful for the quick whistle. Still 2-1 Cardinals early in the third. Long pass to Whitney Gregg. Nice moves to get to good scoring spot, but she fans on the shot. Emily Fish right there to follow up and get the goal. Give Coon Rapids a 2-goal lead. They add to it just a few minutes later through pure determination and good pressure on the puck. They just keep stopping the Huskies' clearing attempts. And again, and one more time, and Lily Hackett ends up with it. Nice feed to Brina out front. She one-times it home. Puts the Cardinals on top 4-1. Andover got one back late in the game, but the Cardinals go on to the 4-2 victory.
Pretty goal, that last one by Coon Rapids. A nice setup for her right in front of the net.
Yeah, and you know what, me as a hockey lover, what I like most about that is how much pressure they put on the puck all the way from their own blue line into their offensive zone. Every time Andover had it, there was a Cardinal right there. They forced Andover to make quick decisions, and a lot of times when you make them force the quick decision, it's the wrong decision. Cardinals kept coming up with the puck each and every time. Andover gets it back, clears it into some legs. Cardinals end up with it. Great backhanded pass. And Brina knew what to do with it one-times at home.
Yeah, and a nice win, quite obviously, and and they're putting together a nice season.
Yeah, and they've got, we talked about it during the preview, just 18 skaters between the varsity and JV teams. So they're doing a lot of work in order to get that done. Most of the time at the varsity level, they're skating 2 lines. That means a lot of work for those young ladies, but they're doing it admirably. They are getting a couple of other girls into the mix a little bit, a couple of nicks and scratches here and there, some illnesses that they've had to deal with, but things are coming together well. Talking to Coach Christofferson, she says they really should have a couple more wins. Their record should be even better. A couple of games that they clearly outplayed the opponent and just came up short.
Well, and I know she likes this squad, and I know that they work hard for her, and she's, even though they're short on skaters, they play hard every night in and out.
Well, it's a big week for them. They host Centennial on Tuesday. They're at Rogers on Thursday. Both of those are very good programs and will give the Cardinals a great test trying to keep that win streak intact. On Saturday, a very special evening at the Coon Rapids Ice Center. They host Elk River, and before the game, they will retire Rachel Bona's number 7 in a special ceremony.
That should be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to that, and certainly well deserved. And first time they've ever done that in the program. And
first time, pretty much in girls high school.
Well,
hockey
yeah,
exactly,
exactly. And so this is an opportunity to recognize somebody who I think really helped continue to build this program and left her mark on this program.
No question.
Probably more than anybody else.
No question.
Yep.
It was a definite joy watching her play in a Cardinal uniform.
Without a doubt. Well, since starting the season with a 3-2 win over Eastridge, the boys hockey team hasn't been able to find the winning formula again. They came into last week on a 4-game slide during which they had been outscored 19-4. Last Thursday, the Cardinals at Fogarty Arena facing new Northwest suburban foe Spring Lake Park. The Panthers were 2-2 on the year and were looking for their first win in conference play. Cardinals get on the board first early in the second on a face-off in the Panthers' end. Good hustle and movement by Gavin Hegestad. Plays it to the slot, setting up one-timer by Lucas Ruff. Coon Rapids up 1-0, 2.5 minutes into the second period. But the celebration was short-lived because the Panthers answer immediately. Spring Lake Park moving into the zone. Connor Gagnon feeds Devin Sonnell in the slot. He continues and scores easily to the wide-open net, and that would tie the score at goal apiece. Sonnell strikes again midway through the period. Panthers take the zone in speed and numbers. Sonnell working down the wing, flips the backhander at the net, somehow sneaks past St. John. Spring Lake Park up 2-1. Another good scoring chance for the Panthers, but this time St. John is up to the challenge. Good passes to the back door, but St. John slides across, keeps his glove up, and makes the save, keeping the team's hopes alive. Late in the second, face-off in the Spring Lake Park end. They're going to flip it high off the glass, creating a foot race for center Jacob Nystrom. Steps up, cuts back out in front, going to the backhand, putting it top shelf to give the Panthers a 3-1 edge going into the final period. Spring Lake Park strikes quickly in the third, creating the shorthanded odd man rush. Nystrom stops up for the shot. St. John makes the save, but Nystrom gets his own rebound, skates to the far side for that wide open net. They made it 4-1, and then the Panthers poured it on to a 7-1 win to end the evening.
Yeah, and it's
tough one.
And it's really tough to keep your chins up.
Yep.
When you get kind of pummeled 7-1 against the team that, looking at it, you really felt you had a good chance. You got out, you got that 1-0 lead, and we talked about it at the beginning of the season. The Cardinals were allowing a ton of shots. St. John doing an outstanding job, giving them an opportunity to win in those games when they were being outshot 50-18, and you know, they've done a better job at limiting those opportunities, but teams getting better shooting chances, getting more quality than quantity now, and St. John's saves percentage dropping a little bit.
Absolutely. You give up 7 goals.
Unfortunate, but you know, the bottom line is you can look at your goaltender and say, well, he gave up 7 goals. Well, you got to look at the offense. They only scored 1.
Right.
You're not going to win many 1-goal hockey games.
Very few.
Unless your defense is so stellar that you're not giving up more than 1 or 2 good scoring chances in a game. And obviously, Spring Lake Park was getting a plethora of good scoring opportunities. A lot of those goals, you know, St. John, you know, a couple of them maybe he should have or could have had a better chance at, but most of them, you know, if the offense has the numbers, they should score.
Well, as Coach Mo said at the beginning, the opportunity for us to win is we're going to have to put the puck in the net, and that's going to be so important. They know they have a solid goaltender, but they're going to have to score if they want to win in this conference.
Well, on Saturday, the Cardinals back home to take on non-conference opponent St. Paul Como. They lose this one 3-2. St. John watching from the bench as Max Ammon gets the start, his first varsity start of his career. Made 18 saves, and again, keeping his team in it. 2 goals, not enough to get the victory here. Lucas Ruff and Travis Hess had the goals for the Cardinals. Havelka and Hegestad each had an assist in that. But with the 3-2 loss, Cardinals fall to 1-6. They are 0-3 in conference play. They host Osseo on Thursday, and then they have a little time off until the following week when they go to, Eveleth for a tournament from the 29th through the 31st. And you know, Osseo has been down a little bit the last couple of years. I haven't really looked at what they've done so far this year, but that's an opportunity for the Cardinals maybe to hopefully get a little bit of confidence, and if they can go in and play well and maybe get a win over the Orioles, they can hold their heads up maybe a little bit higher, because when they go to Eveleth, I saw the teams, and it's a lot of northern Iron Range type teams. Mm-hmm. They're going to face some serious competition.
Oh, without a doubt. You know, and the thing with Coach Mo, I think this week off maybe is a good opportunity for them to kind of go back to things and get some good practice time in. I know he said that, you know, they had so many games in a row, it was tough to, you know, learning new systems, as you would know, tough to implement everything the way you want.
Yeah. Well, the wrestling team continues to roll. They had a busy week last week. Started with a dual meet in Osakis, and they beat Osakis 43-21. Mike Jones, one of the captains of 113, earns the 17-2 technical fall. Pins from Josh Bryan at 145, Bothwell at 160, Molsness.
There you go.
I think I'm pronouncing that
that's
right.
right.
At 182 in just 51 seconds. And Mike Bothwell at 195, a 15-5 major decision. On Friday, Cardinals hosting a quad, and actually it should have been Henry Sibley first. Oh, no, Henry Sibley was last. This is right. Centennial was first. Cardinals beat the Cougars. And remember, Centennial has been to the state tournament like 8 of the last 11 years. I can't remember. I think it's Section 4. I'm not positive of that. But they wrestle in a different section. They're a good quality club. The Cardinals handled them 41-27. Pins from Jones, May, and Mike Bothwell. Joe Bothwell, an 18-4 major decision at 160. Alex Calderilla, a 9-1 major decision at 182. And here's the one. How about that?
Wow.
How about that?
Wow.
Yes, there were 1 or 2 forfeits in this
pins.
one, but the Cardinals just absolutely dominant over Maple Grove, beating them 77-0. That's not only is that winning all 14 weight classes, but getting bonus team points in almost every one.
Very
Pins
impressive.
From Caswell at 106, Jolkowski at 132, Josh Bryant at 145, Joe Bothwell at 160, and Mike Bothwell at 195. Now they played Henry Sibley, the one non-con in the quad meet, and they beat Henry Sibley 50-18. And there's another handful of pins, just a half dozen for the Cardinals. Jolkowski, Crawford, Bryant, Bothwell, Calderilla, and Halseth, who was wrestling at 220. And a very, very nice start for the Cardinals. Now 10-2 on the year.
Oh, great start.
Joe and Mike Bothwell, the 2 remaining undefeated for the Cardinals, at 11-0. And
phenomenal.
don't forget, Mike Bothwell bulked up 40 pounds in the offseason.
Yeah,
so he's wrestling against much bigger, stronger opponents than what he had last year, and he's dominating.
And that's great.
He's beaten a couple of other rated wrestlers. A couple of the other losses over the weekend came against other ranked wrestlers. So while some guys lost their undefeated ranking, they lost to really good opponents. 10-2, their only losses coming to the number 3 ranked team in AAA and the number 1 ranked team in AA. So a phenomenal start, and the Cardinals bumped up in the most recent rankings. They started at number 8. They are now number 5.
Yes.
And a huge match coming up this week. They're wrestling against number 6 ranked St. Francis, who is also a Section 7 opponent, on Thursday at home. And Howie,
we'll be there.
And then on Friday, they will head to Rochester for the Minnesota Christmas Tournament, which is one of the biggest individual tournaments in the upper Midwest. And that's always a lot of fun. Cardinals, I know, the last couple of years have not done quite as well as they wanted to in that tournament. They're hoping with the strength they have, especially at the middle to upper weights this year, they'll have a couple of guys who make a good run and maybe have a chance at a championship.
And I was kind of perusing through the guillotine today, and I noticed that
is that like the guillotine?
The guillotine. The guillotine is where you tap out the guillotine. Thanks for correcting me.
No problem.
Absolutely. And both squads have a number of wrestlers that are ranked in the top 10 in their weight classes, and it should be a great match. There's no doubt. It should be a lot of fun.
Yeah, it will be an interesting evening. Come out to the Roger E. Carlson Fieldhouse. It's youth night. It's going to be a big event. They always put a good crowd in the building, and it will be loud, raucous, and a lot of fun as 2 very good programs battle on the mat. If you're not able to make it, of course, we'll have it for you right here live on CTS.
It's also alumni night as well.
It's also alumni.
So it should be a lot of fun. Always, like you said, it's going to be packed.
It will be.
Hope they save a seat for us.
I hope there's room for us.
I hope so.
And the cameras.
Exactly.
Otherwise, we'll do radio.
Yeah.
It'd be better that we wouldn't be on camera.
Well, that's true. That's true.
Well, the gymnastics team coming off a very busy week, two dual meets and a tournament since our last show. Cardinals really starting the season well with their scores continuing to rise. It's a young team, but they have quite a bit of experience. Last Tuesday, they were in Maple Grove taking on one of the top teams in the area, which gave them a chance to see what it takes to be considered an elite team. We start on the vault. Sophomore Becky Lammers with good speed, gets great height and rotation off the vault. A little bit of a step on the landing, but she's able to take 4th place with an 8.325. Senior McKenna Mudge will do her one better, a great vault for her, and she's rewarded with a 2nd place finish after scoring an 8.4. Move to the bars, freshman Hannah Gross showing she is going to be a big contributor to this team. She has a great routine, finishes strong on the dismount. Gross finishes in a tie for fourth place with Kennedy Koval, score of 7.525. Speaking of Koval, she leads the team on the bars and on the floor. Her routine on the bar, very clean. It's a little step on the dismount, but scores a solid 7.7. However, against Crimson, that's only good enough for sixth place. Koval also the top Cardinals on the floor. She takes fourth place with an 8.4. Her scores were down a little from the first meet, but she still takes second in the all-around with a 31.925. The team score, however, jumps to a 121.925. That's a loss to Maple Grove's 133.55, but it's a victory in seeing the team score go up about 5 points since meet one.
Yeah, and that's important. And they talked about they want to be in the 120s. They want to try and move up from there, but their goal is to be at least in the 120s. And nice to see there against Maple Grove. That,
and we talked about it during the preview. They got into the 120s last year, which was the first time they had done it in a couple of years.
Right.
And they said, I think we can start around the 120s. And they started the season with a win, but they had only scored 116.
Right.
For them to bounce right back and add 5 points in their second meet is just absolutely outstanding. A 121, and it looks like they're going to continue to grow. On Thursday, the Cardinals took on Park Center. Unfortunately, we did not get those results for you. I'm hoping they still can score it into the 120s and got a victory against Park Center. I'll try and track those down for next week, and we'll update you. On Saturday, they were at the Rebels Luau in Champlain Park, a 124.3 for the Cardinals. Here are your top two finishers in each event. Hannah Gross on the vault in 5th place, McKenna Mudge in 7th. Hannah Gross on the bars in 8th place, Kennedy Koval in 17th. Hannah Gross on the beam in 18th place, Becky Lammers in 20th. Kennedy Koval on the floor in 12th place. And what do you know? Hannah Gross. Hannah Gross finished 7th place in the all-around with a 32.775. Just a freshman.
So you're saying Hannah Gross had a pretty good day?
She did.
She really did.
Becky Lammers finished 12th in the all-around, just a sophomore.
Nice to see.
I think I got those right. Let me go back and look at this right here.
Talk amongst yourself.
Yes.
Joe's checking this.
Lammers is the sophomore. Okay. So Lammers a sophomore, Gross a freshman, and they were the top two all around for the Cardinals at the Rebels Luau, and that is outstanding.
Absolutely.
You expect to see Kennedy Koval, the senior leader, McKenna Mudge, also a senior, leading the way for those younger competitors to come in and have days like that. That's just
phenomenal.
Huge.
Absolutely.
For this program. And you saw it in the score, 124. So we went from 116 to 121 to 124 in a matter of 2 weeks. So
that's impressive.
And they had talked about it. They'd love to see 130. I thought, is that a little bit out? Is that a little bit being a little bit setting the goal kind of high? Well, don't set one that's easy to achieve.
Absolutely.
So there.
Like
I
we
think
do.
130. We set the bar lower around here.
Right on the ground.
That's clear. So they're 130, maybe even 135 by the end of the year. We'll see. It's a great way for them to start. Cardinals at Anoka on Saturday. Then they have some time off for the holidays. They'll be at Centennial on the 9th of January. Swimming and diving team started its season in Elk River on Thursday. They lose 97-70. Only a couple of podium finishes. Johnston, second place in diving with a 164. Austin Frazier was third in the 100 free, and Schmidt was third in the 500 free. A lot of fourth place finishes. Tate Andrews in the 200, Schmidt in the 200 IM, Plessel in the 50 free, and Tate Andrews again in the 100 fly. And just to be fair, some of those fourth place finishes were because Maple Grove had taken the top three spots, and they had a fourth swimmer, even a fifth swimmer, who had placed better, or Elk River rather.
Right.
But Elk River was putting up some pretty impressive numbers. In the Northwest Suburban Conference relays on Saturday, the Cardinals fifth in that 8 or 9 team event. So that's not bad.
No, middle of the pack.
No, yeah. Fifth place finish for the 400 free relay was their best finish. The 7th place finishes in the 300 back and the 800 free. 8th place finishes in the 100 free and the 300 fly. So it's kind of we talk about it all the time. It's kind of a crazy It's kind of a crazy event, the Northwest Suburban Conference relays.
Yes.
The 300 relays are what really get me, because you got 250s and then 2 100s, and I'm just thinking some of those guys get in there and go, wait, am I supposed to turn or am I done? Am I done? And then
just keep swimming. They'll tell you if you're done.
Right. But then if you turn and your teammate jumps over, it could be messy.
Could be.
But they also have a couple of 100s where it's just 25, 25, 25, and 25. So there's guys jumping in from each end.
Good
of the
math,
pool.
by the way.
Thanks.
Absolutely.
Thanks. It's tough. It's tough for me sometimes. Swimming and diving team at Fridley on Tuesday, which happens to be tonight because we're shooting the show a little bit late. And then they host Anoka on Thursday. Nordic ski teams, boy, rough season for those guys. God, you get a ton of snow at the beginning of November. Then it gets really cold, and you're thinking, all right, we're going to have just the kind of winter we want. And then it's 45 degrees, and it's raining out, and you lose all your snow. They did get their age group classic races in last week, and again, the Cardinals doing pretty well.
Yep.
These are your top finishers in each of the age groups, and then their overall place is on the right in parentheses. For the boys, Haida, the second among 7th graders. Now, to be fair, again, only a couple of 7th graders that are competing. A lot more 9th graders, though, and Paul Breitbach, 9th in amongst second among 9th graders. Easy for me to say. 13th overall. Sandorowski was 5th amongst 9th graders, 25th overall. Coughlin and Thone, the top finishers at the sophomore level, in 5th and 6th places, respectively, 20th and 24th overall. Matthews, though, 1st place among juniors, 3rd place overall. Keeker, 4th place among juniors, and 21st overall. It shows you kind of how that junior division broke down. But both Ryan Nelson and Ryan Haida doing very well, finishing 2nd and 3rd among seniors, 4th and 5th overall. So you can see it, Matthews, Nelson, and Haida finishing 3rd, 4th, and 5th overall. That's a nice finish for
Very
the
nice,
boys.
very nice finish.
On the girls' side, Abby Ellenbecker, 1st place among 7th graders. Again, not a lot of 7th graders, but she finished 8th overall. 8th overall. She's in 7th grade.
Pretty
That's
impressive.
pretty darned impressive.
It is.
Sister Olivia Ellenbecker, an 8th grader, finished 3rd among the 8th graders, 13th overall. Haberman finished 4th among 8th graders, 26th overall. O'Grady, the only sophomore of the bunch for the Cardinals, finished 25th overall. Emily Ford, 8th place among juniors. Weimholt, 10th among juniors. They finished 30th and 38th overall. Caitlin Benson, 1st place among seniors, 4th overall. And Zabaski was 3rd place among seniors and 12th overall.
Good numbers.
They went to Winona on Saturday for the Winona Relays. And what it is it's a 2-team thing, and they have a quarterfinal, semifinal, and final. Cardinals put 3 teams into their respective finals. For the boys, you see Matthews and Mehrhoff teaming up, put together the best time of the day at 7:45 in race 1. Coughlin and Nelson racing pretty well and pretty even from race 1 to race 2. Mehrhoff and Matthews made the finals and finished in 3rd place in the time of 7:58. On the girls' side, Olivia Ellenbecker and Caitlin Benson, again, that's a 8th grader and a senior teaming up, and they made it all the way to the finals and finished, doesn't say there, but they finished 2nd place in the finals. So a very nice finish for them. Emily Ford and Abby Ellenbecker also putting up some pretty solid time. I don't know how 5:04 and 5:20 gets to 11:27. Millington!
Carry the 1 divided by 3.
So
He'll have to explain that to us after the show, how he got to that
yeah,
number.
they finished 2nd place. And the other group that made it to the finals was a couple of JV guys, but they finished like 3rd or 4th out of 15 in the finals. And it was a couple of young skiers. I don't remember if it was a 7th and an 8th grader or a 7th and a 9th grader, something like that. But Coach Denny Green sent me a nice write-up on Monday or on Sunday night about the week, and he was very impressed with the way they're skiing, the times they're putting in, but more importantly, how well they are handling adversity, because the courses have been, no snow in some spots, dirty snow in others, and really icy snow in yet some other spots. They were supposed to actually race today on Tuesday, but they pushed that back to Elm Creek on Wednesday. hopefully, with the cooler temperatures coming in, they do make snow over there, and that will be they will be good to go with that. They have a Classic 5K scheduled for Saturday, and then a pursuit race, the skate portion, on Monday. Alpine ski team supposed to start the season tonight at Wild Mountain. Then race 2 is not until January the 8th.
Well, the boys basketball team played 3 games last week, starting with one of the top teams in the Northwest, Suburban. The Champlain Park Rebels were section runners-up last season after going 24-2 during the regular season. So far this year, the Rebels were a perfect 4-0 and averaging more than 92 points per game, and they would bring a serious thumping to the Cardinals' floor. In the opening tip, this was clearly the Rebels' game, and they had the Cardinals turning around on defense, waiting for their opening. Theo John finishes this one with a dunk, finished with a game-high 17 points, 12 rebounds. Rebels on offense again. They work it to John in the post. He turns and scores. Rebels running away with this one from the very start. The Cardinals' scoring was few and far between. Sam Carver hits the quick jumper off the inbound. Carver was held to just 4 points against the Rebels. Cardinals trying to find scoring from other parts of the floor. Timmy Wynn finds a little space, knocks down the three-pointer, but just not enough of that to keep the Cardinals in this one. Well, those Rebels on the run again, and this is how you finish a fast break. The alley-oop to Jeremy Johnson, 2 of his 14 in the game. And in the half court, they get the Cardinals moving, find the open man. This time it's Jonathan Johnson hitting the three-pointer. It's all Rebels. Champlain Park up 65-15 at the half, on their way to a 91-38 win. We held them below 92 points, though.
We did, below their average.
Below their average.
Yep. 50-point deficit at the half. That's a tough one to try and dig out of.
Yeah, it really is.
But you got to take your hats off. That Champlain Park team is pretty darn good.
They're 7-0, have 4 players in double digits right now. So they are averaging double digits.
Yeah,
they're really good.
They're all right.
Yep.
They're all right.
Yep.
Well, the Cardinals come back on Thursday, and the Cardinals win.
Woo-hoo!
The Cardinals win.
Woo-hoo!
The Cardinals win.
Woo-hoo!
60-45. That is their first conference victory since March of 2012.
It's so nice to see. It's so nice to see.
So very nice to see them beating the Anoka Tornadoes 60-45. Timmy Wynn with 17 points in that one. Sam Carver added 13. They get 8 from Pratt, 7 from Tyler Brick, and 6 points from Peyton Foy. It's a big one because it's in the conference. On Saturday, though, they lose to section opponent Cambridge Isani 75-51. They did get 3 guys in double digits. Chris Buckley had 12. Foy and Carver each added 11. Dujmovic had 8, and Timmy Wynn held to just 5 points in that one. The Cardinals host Blaine on Tuesday, and they host Centennial on Friday, so a little bit of home cooking.
Yep.
And a couple of teams that at least aren't going to be Champlain Park.
Well, it's a big one Tuesday night, which is tonight for Coach O against his former
team,
program, the Blaine Bengals. So we wish them a lot of luck tonight.
And we look forward to telling you about it next week on Sportsnight. Girls basketball team will play back-to-back road games this week before taking some time off for the holidays. Cardinals struggling to find some consistency early in the season after a solid first half in the season opener. They fell apart against Forest Lake. It was a similar story in last week's conference opener against Champlain Park. They started well, but they just couldn't finish. Early on, Kaylee Porish starts the scoring. Her first attempt is blocked, but she stays with it, puts it back to Coon Rapids, the first points of the game. Porish led the team in scoring, but that was her only points from the floor. Still, Coon Rapids setting the pace early. Jessica Kohler left alone in the corner, hits the three-pointer. Cardinals on top 7-2. Rebels respond with a 12-2 run. Allison Jarrett's hits back-to-back three-pointers to spark the Champlain offense, get them their first lead. Cardinals able to stop the bleeding a bit, keep it close. Megan Morehouse hits a 3. That cut the deficit to 2 midway through the first. Champlain ends the first half strong. Hannah Krimble's basket, part of a 16-2 run that would give the Rebels a commanding 36-17 lead at the break. They keep going back to Krimble in the second. She turns and scores, part of a 15-point effort for her. That basket put Champlain up by 23. They could pretty much coast from there. Katera Etheridge with a steal and the easy bucket at the other end. Champlain cruises to the 68-34 win, Howie.
They were impressive, no doubt about it. They definitely were impressive, and tough one for the Cardinals against the Rebels that night.
Once they fell behind, just could not catch back up. Anoka beating the Cardinals 69-49 on Friday. Seiner had 12, Porish added 11, Nyberg had 9. They are, as we mentioned, on the road for 2 games, at Blaine on Tuesday, at Centennial on Friday. We are at wrestling on Thursday against St. Francis. Girls hockey on Saturday for the Rachel Bana jersey retirement celebration, and then we do girls basketball on Friday, the 26th. But that's going to do it for this edition of Sportsnight. I want to thank the Athletic Fraternity for continuing to support everything we do here at CTM. For the entire crew, including Howard Shapiro, I'm Joe Young. Say good night.